Welcome back. We're going to have my main palette review, what I'm going to be using in the next year in 2026. I have my main watercolor palette here, full of 40 different watercolors from 5 different brands. These are the ones that I mostly go to, and also some new finds that I've acquired in the last month or so. I'm going to try them out the next few months. So sit back with a cozy drink. It's going to be a fun time swatching these out and seeing all these different colors, and hopefully you find some new treasures in here. If you see some of your favorite colors in here, comment them below. If you think there's something that is not in my palette that I just can't live without, twist my arm into buying some new paint and put your suggestions in the comments as well. But let's go ahead and get started. Alright, the first color that we're going to swatch is Bramble by Deep Deep Light. This is really lovely purple. It granulates and it separates out into a couple of different colors. It's more blue leaning. I've actually used this as a sky before, as a wash. And it turned out really, really pretty. Next we have Purple Reed by Deep Deep Light. I just got this color not too long ago. It was on my list to get for a long time. I think I waited a year. It's from their Soul of the Oak set. It's probably one of my favorite sets from Deep Deep Light. It's so pretty. Very balanced palette. Next is Rose Ashes. This one I got about a month ago. They've had this color for a long time, I just haven't picked it up until now. It's also granulating and color separating. And by the way, if you would like a downloadable PDF of these swatches, I have a swatch library on my Substack. So if you go down to the description of the video, I'll have a link there to the swatch library, and you can download it and see these a little bit closer. You can also compare it to my palette from last year. There's a lot of changes, mainly in that I have a lot more Deep Deep Light this year. There are 5 different brands in here, like I said. But most of the variety is down below. It's kind of Deep Deep Light heavy toward the top. Alright, our next one is Milky Way. This is from their Velvet set that they just came out with. Maybe a couple months ago? Maybe not even that. It's relatively new. It's a really interesting set. It's a very deep purpley red, and granulates and color separates. There's some brown that comes out. There we go. The next color is from Winsor Newton. This is Permanent Alizarin Crimson. I should note that part of my decision-making process for this is that I tend to work best with not only just kind of a go-to of my favorites, but have them already in half pans. If I need to go to my tube library and select things, it usually takes me a long time. So I tend to just kind of pick my favorites every year, and it changes a little bit throughout the year. But this helps me just grab what I need and get to painting faster. So those colors that don't reactivate well after pouring from the tube, while they might be really beautiful colors, I'm not going to go for them as quickly. So for example, those of you that are Daniel Smith fans, I do have quite a bit of Daniel Smith paints, but there are some that dry and have a harder time reactivating. At least I've had trouble with it. I've had discussions with other people that are in more humid climates that have not had a problem with it. But where I live here in California, some of those paints dry and harden to the point where I can't really use them anymore. So some of my favorite colors from Daniel Smith are not in this palette just for that reason alone. The next one is Manor Red. I just got this one about a month ago as well. This is from Deep Deep Light. The other factor into what I've selected is you're going to find out really quick that I really like granulating colors. Not all of these are granulating, but I really like putting texture in my paintings, and choosing granulating colors is an easy way to do that. I love this red. The next red that I have is Winsor Red from Winsor Newton. Alright, and now we're going into more of an orangey red. It's Rose Hip from Deep Deep Light. It's this really beautiful glowy orange red. It's beautiful in mass tone, but the wash is really incredible. And if you're curious, I am working on a block of Arches paper. One, because I need to know how these paints are going to react on the paper that I use for the paintings that I sell. And it's also important for you to know. I try to use helpful materials for you. So if you're wondering how these react on nice quality cotton paper, that's what I'm using. The next one is Acorn Rust from Deep Deep Light. This also is very bright and glowy. This also is in their Soul of the Oak set. And I'm not sponsored by any of these brands, by the way. All of these are just truly my favorites. My go-to paints that I use over and over again. And some of them are just brand new to me and I want to try them out. The next one is Permanent Yellow Light, I believe. I didn't put light on the card, but it's Permanent Yellow Light by Deep Deep Light. I might do a second video, like an update on what I have from Deep Deep Light, because these are not all of the paints that I have from them. I've got roughly about 20 more of them. And if I could fit them all into this palette, then I would. But I had to make some hard decisions. Alright, so the next one in our second row is Lemon Yellow from Winsor Newton. I love this cool yellow, and it's very opaque as well. I don't use a lot of yellow, but I do really like that one. Alright, we'll get into the greens now. This is Solstice Fern from Deep Deep Light. I don't know if you can hear outside, but I started recording and then all of my neighbors decided to just get in their cars and drive past my window. So if you're hearing a lot of traffic, my apologies. Hopefully the music covers it. Like seriously, all the traffic outside. Alright, the next color is Meadow Green from Deep Deep Light. This one has more yellow in it. More like an ochre. It's also very saturated. This one specifically, I think I have a little too much on there. Re-wets really easily, so even just a small little dip into it. Sometimes I get a little too much paint. It's also why I kind of like Deep Deep Light's paints. Like if you put a drop of water on there, 2-3 minutes later, you have no problem painting with it. Put a little bit more water in there. Alright, next is Dark Forest from Deep Deep Light. This one I look at the half pan and I don't think it's as dark. Like, it looks lighter in the pan. And it dries pretty dark. Alright, now we have Sap Green from Gallo. This color I've had for a long time. Next we have Deep Olive by Gallo. This one's a really interesting color. Give it a good mix in the pan. Make sure I have all the pigments here, because it separates out. You get some yellows and some blues. We are. And of course we have Undersea Green from Daniel Smith. I know this is a favorite for a lot of people. Next is Eternity from Deep Deep Light. This is one of their newer paints from their Velvet set. It's similar to Undersea Green, but I almost want to say it isn't. Like, there is some difference to it. Like, it's darker, it's more muted. Really want to stir that one up too. I apologize too, like, it might be that my voice gets more and more gravelly as we go on. After Thanksgiving, like, all of us got sick. All my in-laws, and they gave me something. And then I went back to work as a teacher, and my kids gave me something else right after it. So I'm feeling great. It's just I sound terrible sometimes. All right. Next is Soul of the Oak. Obviously from the Soul of the Oak set. I love this green. And it seems to be slightly different every time that I use it. There are reds and purples that come out of it, blues, like some of Deep Light's paints aren't the most consistent in their colors. As long as you know that that's the case with it, like they're beautiful colors, and sometimes you want that variety, so I don't personally mind it. And the more that I use these, I've gotten to know them quite well, so I know what's possible coming out of them, and I'll know what will work with my painting and what won't. But I love using that green. The last one in the row is also one of my longtime favorites. It's Forest Blue from Schmincke. I go through a lot of this paint. I do fill the half pans myself, and I've not had any problems with it drying out too much. I have their forest, haze, and tundra sets. I have the desert one too, but I'm not as big a fan of that one. But if you get their forest, their haze, or their tundra set, you're not going to be disappointed. They're beautiful. All right, third row. The first one is Juniper by Deep Light. This is a dark teal. This one also you really want to mix well in the pan to get all of the different pigments that are in there. This one is extremely similar to River by Deep Light. I don't have River. I think I have like a dot card for it. This one seems like Juniper seems like there is some green that separates out, and so it appears more green, in my opinion, than River does. And this one seems like it would be more opaque than River. That is my best guess. I've had people ask me, they'll comment and ask me, like, what is the difference between those two? That is my best guess. If you go to Deep Light's channel, they actually have swatches for all of their colors on there. They're not going to be side by side, but if you want another look at those colors, that's there for you as well. Alright, the next one I just got about a month ago. This is Bilberry by Deep Light. And I haven't used this in a painting yet, but I'm really excited to. I would love to pair this with another color that I just got. It's Reed Buff. Will be at the end of the row. And do a similar palette to one of the Daniel Smith Triad sets, the architectural one. And that one was sepia, buff titanium, and lavender. And those three together, I have, actually it was during a live stream that I used that. Those three together are stunning. But I'd like to do something similar with bilberry and reed buff and iris. Alright, the next one is Tundra Blue by Schmincke. From their Tundra set. It's very similar to Deep Light's Deep Blue, but this one granulates, so I picked this one. Also, it's not as bright as Deep Blue. It's a little more muted. Next we have Haze Blue from Schmincke's Haze set. This is also one of my frequent go-tos for blue. I'm having to fill the pan a lot. I love this color. Alright, next is Payne's Gray from Winsor Newton. Make sure I'm dipping in the correct color. There we go. And this I'll use in place of black a lot. I have a couple of Payne's Grays, but Winsor Newton's is my favorite. Next is Night Raspberry from Deep Light. This is very deep blue that has this really dark purple that comes out of it. Or at least it looks to me like a very dark purple. It's very similar to a Payne's Gray, only more blue leaning to me. Like a vibrant blue, less muted. Next is Tundra Violet. Another one of my all-time faves. It doesn't work in everything, but sometimes I plan paintings around this color because it's so interesting. And if you've been around my channel anytime, longer than, I don't know, maybe 3 to 6 months, you're probably getting toward being tired about me talking about Tundra Violet and how much I love it. It's so fun to play with. It looks, when you're painting with it, really plain, but you get this muted, almost like Payne's gray color, but it's kind of gray. And then when it dries, there's this rust color that separates out. And if you get some really cool blooms in there, it's lovely. And sometimes my swatches of this color do it justice, and sometimes it doesn't. Because you really need to see it in like a larger area, but I'll do the best I can. The next one I have is from Deep Deep Light. It's Asphalt. And I have this in here to try it out. I have been looking at this color for a couple of years, maybe, and hesitating on getting it only because it's so similar to Tundra Violet. At least it appeared that way when I was looking at the color online. So I was like, I don't really need to buy it because I have something similar, but I finally got it, and I'm going to try out both and see if I like one more than the other, or if they're different enough that I need both of them in my palette. I've seen other people use this color, and it just looks so nice. So I'm glad I finally picked it up. Another one is a new color for me. Oh gosh. It's been sitting here with a drop of water on it for a long time, and it really separated out. So I'm going to mix it up. This is called Fly by Deep Deep Light. It's really opaque. Like, a lot of the paint activated, and it did separate out, so it was sitting for a while. But how pretty is that? Go. And you get plenty of water in there. And the last one is Reed Buff by Deep Deep Light. Another one that I just picked up about a month ago. It's kind of like an early Christmas present. So see what the wash is like. It's so soft and warm. It's interesting because it looks cooler in mass tone, and the wash looks a lot warmer. Okay, last row, here we go. First one is probably one of my favorites from Daniel Smith. It's one of my favorite reds. We have Transparent Red Oxide. Goodness, there's a lot there. Am obsessed with this color. Next is Gold Ochre from a Gallo. These are all my go-to natural colors here. Another one of my favorites is French Ochre by A. Gallo. And then we have Transparent Brown Oxide from Daniel Smith. Got a little too much water in there. Clean up the edge a little bit. Alright, the next is Iris from Deep Deep Light. This one was included with the Velvet set, but it's not part of the set. So and it's not part of their catalog either. I'm not sure if they're going to be releasing this one. But I got this one fairly recently. It's a little bit of a mystery to me. It's a beautiful brown. I want to try it out more, so they made it into the palette. Let's really mix this one up. Make sure we get all the colors if there's any separation. The next color is one of my favorites for green. This is Forest Gray. This one granulates and color separates. There's some red that comes out of this. It's a very interesting color. It's very gray, but a greenish leaning with some red that pops out. It's really, it's different, but I love using it. The next is a gray from Deep Deep Light. This is Velvet. I didn't really have like a favorite gray, and this is probably going to be it. The granulation on this one is really nice. It's almost like it crackles like a Mars Black does. Maybe it has a little bit of that pigment in it, but I love that one. Alright, then we have Ivory Black from Winsor Newton. Did I skip one by accident? No, I didn't. Okay. I'm always like nervous about dipping into the wrong paint. I've made it most of the way without mistakes. Hopefully we don't mess it up. There's only 2 more left. And they're very different. But I'm gifted in that way. I'll get to talking about something and just dip in the wrong paint. I think I did that in almost all of my earlier swatching videos from the beginning of the year. Alright, the next is Mars Black from Deep Deep Light. This one's great to mix into other colors if you want some granulating black in it. Got plenty of water in there. There we go. And last but not least, clean that up. We have Chinese White from Winsor Newton. You're not going to see it a whole lot because it's white on white, but it's a great opaque white watercolor. If you want to do some details on top of your work or make something a little more opaque, you can mix this in. But I promise you it's there. Alright, so here we are with all of the colors dried. I hope this was fun for you. It certainly was for me. And it's always nice looking at all of my colors all together as a palette. I'm really excited for the potential for all these newer colors that I just got, and I look forward to using those. And thank you guys for joining me. If you liked the video, please like it. If you really like it, you can give it a hype. Feel free to comment below. I'd love to know your favorites and the ones that maybe I've missed for this year. If you're new, say hi. I always love meeting new people too. Any materials that I've used are going to be listed in the description. Of course, there's a Substack if you want to check that out. There are some fun blogs on there, as well as my swatch library. So that's available to you. And of course, you can always look at my website if you're interested in purchasing any watercolor paintings from me. Next update to that shop, by the way, is probably going to be in either late January or early February, so be looking for that. So with that said, thank you guys for joining me again, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.